doesn't care about your feelings is that online and in the media, conservative voices are being silenced. On the Jordan Peterson Kayak podcast.
Okay, sorry, I'm watching this. I can't tell who this is trolling. Wait, I don't even know what's happening right now. Can someone explain to me what this is? I really don't get it. It's from Death to 2020. Lisa Kudrow's character is mocking Republicans whining about being silenced when they aren't. Oh, okay. So all of these, this is all a meme. Okay. All right. Good one. That's the Friends actor. Oh, okay. Why did I... Oh, I didn't copy that. Get to the right place. Word wrap. Oh, I was just supposed to copy the N. Hasan claims the IDF killed a good chunk of October 7th victims.
No longer even using the veiled threats. Okay? But the IDF aren't hiding inside of schools and hospitals? Yes, they are. What are you talking about? The IDF headquarters is quite literally next to a fucking mall in Tel Aviv. What the fuck are you talking about? There's a higher combatant density inside of Israel than there is in fucking Gaza.
I'm pretty sure just definitionally that's just not true. If for no other reason, because the Negev is just mostly hugely empty space. But that's the second clip. Fuck, I don't have the copy paste anymore, so.
The entire country is a reserve.
Did I accidentally search for this? Oh, I did.
She then goes into the other side of the equation. Now notice, she talked about direct victims, humanize them, right? On the Israeli side, young people at a music festival, sexual violence that was unspeakable. Okay? Cringe. That Hamas did, right?
Cringe.
Now let's hear how she talks about the Palestinians. Now, 1,200 Israelis were murdered on October 7th. 1,200 Israelis total. I believe around 400 of them were already were IDF, so they were enemy combatants. Out of the 800 that were not IDF, civilians, okay? Former IDF, doesn't matter, okay?
Former IDF. Oh, what a great one. We should call every single Palestinian death from now on jihadists, I guess, if they're Muslims. What an unhinged comment. What an unhinged comment. Oh my God.
Okay. Former IDF, doesn't matter, okay? Not a majority, but a decent chunk of them were also murdered by the Israeli Defense Forces.
I said this before. I hated that Rabbani got away with seeming more intelligent and more measured in the conversation that I had because Finkelstein was there. But Rabbani is also a massive, probably anti-Semitic hack fuck who also tried to do the same thing. This is why I asked so many times, how many do you think were killed by the IDF? What percentage? Give a guess. What do you think? It's because this talking point is still pervasive today. Hasan probably thinks half or more were killed by the IDF. That's the talking point. When he says a good chunk, he means like half. So the 800 civilian deaths, he's going to say that like maybe 400 got killed by the IDF. And he's going to cite to that one Haaretz article that talks about how on the final day or two of fighting, like I think on October 9th or 10th or whatever, that I think some of civilians might have been killed, like I think like 10 or 12 might have been killed as the IDF was coming back through to try to clear out Hamas because Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other Palestinian fighters were like holed up basically in kibbutzes and in homes and stuff. And it's possible that some Israeli fire killed some civilians that were being fought alongside some of the invaders, I guess. This has nothing to do with the Hannibal Directive whatsoever. It is anybody that brings it up in this context is completely has nothing to do with that.
Doesn't matter, okay? Not a majority, but a decent chunk of them were also murdered by the Israeli Defense Forces, okay? Hamas and the Palestinian resistance groups that operated alongside Hamas.
The Palestinian resistance groups. The second largest one was Palestinian Islamic Jihad, by the way. So the Palestinian resistance groups.
And criminal elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence.
Criminal elements. So it's an effort to downplay Hamas as much as possible, or at least the Palestinian involvement in the Gaza Strip. So it was resistance fighters and then some criminals, I guess, right?
Hamas and criminal elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence, were responsible for the majority of the civilian deaths and the majority of the IDF deaths. Okay? For sure. Like that's not an unfair estimation at all. Okay? for sure. Like the elements that also broke through the boundary, the Gaza border fence, were responsible for the majority of the civilian deaths and the majority of the IDF deaths. Okay.
This is why I like it. This is why I like to ask somebody, give me like an approximate percentage. Well, I'm not going to nail you down. I'm not going to say like, it has to be like 17.48. But the problem is like he has so much wiggle room here to where if you were to confront him on it in a public space, he would say like majority. Like I think like 90% were killed by, you know, Hamas and the invaders. But then like to his audience, they understand as like maybe 51%, maybe 52%. Like almost half were probably killed by Israel.
Okay. For sure. Like that's not an unfair estimation at all. Okay? On the other side, since October 7, Israel has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians. The overwhelming majority of 40,000 Palestinians that Israel has murdered, okay, are women, children, and the elderly.
Do you think he'll give any estimate at all, number percentage-wise, of how many might have been fighters? Any estimate at all, you think?
Think about that. Think about the numbers. Lancet estimations put it at 185,000 once the dust is settled. Right? That's
185,000 deaths? Okay, Chief. Maybe it's 5 million deaths, bro. Who knows?
An estimate. That is not what the actual number is, please. It is
the way the Lancet came up with that estimate is pretty fucking retarded too. The way that they extrapolated that, I have to go back and check. I headlined this and scammed it, but it looked like the way that they had arrived at that estimate was literally fucking retarded. Man, the Lancet has posted some major fucking L's. They posted that the Bernie Sanders single health payer analysis too. I think that was posted in the Lancet. I think that was a dog shit fucking article as well. And I think the Lancet posted the vaccine causes autism shit a long time ago too. Was that Nature? I think that was the Lancet. But Jesus, anyway.
185,000 once the dust is settled. Right? That's an estimate. That is not what the actual number is, please. It is a conservative estimate because Israel hasn't just killed 40,000 Palestinians. They've also destroyed the entirety of the Gaza Strip. Like the entirety of the Gaza Strip. Okay? Numbers on a board. Civilian versus enemy combatant per capita targeting.
Why was the healthcare thing bad? Conservative estimate, yeah. That's actually a massive extrapolation, completely unknown what the actual data is. They just extrapolated that out. The Lancet thing for the Bernie Sanders thing was they had a bunch of amateur economists or whatever, or some dipshits that didn't know how to do any kind of real data analysis at all, came in and they gave an estimation for how much money single-payer healthcare would save in the United States. And I think the way that they arrived at that estimate was they took how much money was spent on administration costs for Social Security. For Medicare, and they compare that to how much money was spent administratively versus how much was spent on healthcare for ordinary private insurance. And I think for Medicare, it's like 2 to 3% is spent on administrative costs, and for ordinary insurance, I think it's like 15 to 20% is spent on administrative costs. And they basically said, well, look, if we had single payer for the entire country, bam, look how much money we'd save. We're wasting like 15 to 20%. It's just a drag on the economy. It's just being wasted on healthcare administration. But the massive, huge, terrible issue with that is that one, the minor point is a lot of Medicare administrative costs are kind of subsumed with Social Security. You're automatically enrolled. They do identity tracking and all that. But two, the huge one was healthcare consumption of old people is massive. Old people consume so much healthcare. So obviously, a guy who's consuming healthcare at a massive rate is paying percentage-wise much less for administrative costs than he would for healthcare treatment, because the treatment is going to be so much more expensive, right? Like if you look at somebody like me, 100% or 95% of all the money I've spent in my life on healthcare has been spent on administrative costs because I'm not a sick person. I'm young, right? But for an old person, the vast majority of the money that they're spending is going towards really expensive medical treatment. So, yeah.
Israel is infinitely more evil than Hamas ever could be. When you just straightforward look at the numbers, Israel has targeted significantly larger percentages of the civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny that. That is just an abject fact. Okay? They've also done this while having access to the Palestinian...
Did you read that study like the original paper? I don't know if we read the whole thing or parts of it, but yeah, I think I went through it like confidently enough that I feel pretty confident about my assessment there.
That is just an abject fact. Okay?
Wait, sorry. Hold on. What is he saying? Hold on. Please help me. How is Hamas worse than Israel, or how is the suffering caused by both sides not equal? You would just never, ever, ever measure it in just the civilian casualties. You would just never do that. It just doesn't make any sense. You always take into account like motivations and stuff at play here, rather than just saying like who killed more. Like if you think about like good guys or bad guys, in like World War II, you would never think like, well, the Nazis were the bad guys because they killed way more people than, the Allies and the US and the Allies who killed way less people. You would never think about it that way. You just don't ever analyze any conflict like that ever. Yeah. The reason why people generally would say Hamas are the bad guys is because Hamas operates in a way where they try to maximize the civilian casualties, period. That means on both sides, their own and on the other side. They conduct themselves in ways that they don't even pretend to try to conform to any of the internationally recognized rules of war. And it seems like their goal, although it's hard to know 100%, but it kind of seems like their goal is the total destruction of Israel as a country. So the kind of bad, not the best, kind of not good. Israel seems more reasonable than Hamas, but
civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny that. That is just an abject fact. Okay?
Wait, I'm sorry, I keep missing.
They've also done that. Okay? Numbers on a board. Civilian versus enemy combatant per capita targeting. Israel is infinitely more evil than Hamas ever could.
Civilian versus enemy per capita targeting. That I don't think he's right there at all. You just have to speak in absolute numbers. I think he's just adding these words on because he saw it in Avi's posts maybe on Twitter, but I don't know why he's...
When you just straightforward look at the numbers, Israel has targeted significantly larger percentages of the civilian population and civilian infrastructure than Hamas has. Okay? That's just a fact. You cannot deny that. That is just an abject fact. Okay?
To be clear, I don't actually think that's an abject fact. I don't know where he gets that from. Israel has missile interception systems or rocket interception systems, and Hamas doesn't. That's why like Israel's infrastructure survives. Not because Hamas doesn't target it, but because Israel intercepts it. But
they've also done this while having access to the Palestinian civilian registry. As in, they know where every Palestinian is. They have 24/7 round-the-clock surveillance. These are things that the Palestinian resistance groups did not have in terms of their targeting capabilities. They also did not have an air force. They did not.
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. When the invaders went to the kibbutzes, they knew that there were civilians there. They had the layouts ready for these kibbutzes. You could literally stand and see where in Kfar Aza, I think, you can see where like the like Hamas would stand on top of a garage or on top of like the armory where the weapons are stored, and they would just shoot people coming out of their homes or shoot people that are on their way to try to like gear up. You can see the bullet holes, you can see everything. Like it wasn't just random. They weren't like, oh shit, like oh no, we just happened to come across this kibbutz. I can't believe that. Like they knew where to go. They had this like pretty well planned out.
Have these offensive weapons capabilities in general, right? And now there's a polio outbreak in Gaza. I mean, it's a fresh hell. It is a genocide, right?
Polio outbreak too. Damn, there's all sorts of shit going on down there. Nickel Pickle, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Okay, and then what was the second clip?
No longer even using the veiled threats. Okay? But the IDF aren't hiding inside of schools and hospitals. Yes, they are. What are you talking
about? Kibbutz? Yeah, we went to Sderot as a city, and then we went to Kfar Aza, I think. It was one of the ones.
About. The IDF headquarters is quite literally next to a fucking mall in Tel Aviv. The fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what that has to do with anything. I think he's talking about the place with the helicopter landing pad. I think we saw this a lot. Helicopter, IDF landing pad, Tel Aviv. Fuck, what's the name of the building I'm thinking of? It's got like two big things on both sides of it.
Okay, Yovel, there's a meme. Okay, Yovel, there's a meme that goes online that says the IDF uses human shields as well.
This is when we went to one of the protests. This was funny, watching this protest in person. I'll go over this when we go over everything. The media report said that the cops were like antagonizing protesters with their horses and with mace for no reason. But if you were there at the protest, the protesters all sit and they try to get in front of the horses so that they can't move, so that they can like intentionally basically bait out the cops to try to attack them.
Linking civilian infrastructure with military, right? And the argument they say is that this building over here, the command center, is
that's
next to a shopping center, right? It's too close to a shopping center. That's the command center, right? Yep. This is the shopping center. Look how much is in between these two buildings. There's like a road, a fucking road that goes underneath, then another road, and then some trees. Look at that.
I mean, is it close? Is it not close? That really doesn't matter. But the thing is that oh, hey, look, it's me. The thing is that if you the reason why you use human shields, the reason why you co-locate military and civilian objectives is because you expect to gain some sort of advantage from it. Israel doesn't gain any advantage from it because Hamas kills civilians. So it's almost definitionally impossible for Israel to use human shields because that wouldn't protect them from being attacked. It almost definitionally like doesn't even work because they know that, right? You're never thinking as an Israeli soldier like, fuck, if I just run into this hospital, there's no way Hamas is going to attack me here. It doesn't make any sense.
The fuck are you talking about? There's a higher combatant density inside of Israel than there is in fucking Gaza. The entire country is a reservist. They've all served in the military. Far more people inside of Israel have served in the IDF per capita than people inside of Gaza have.
This should be auto ban. Fuck. I want to say really, really, really bad things that would get me banned from every single platform for him making this comment. The fact that he will never talk about how many militants there are in the Palestinian death tolls, he considers, so he wants every single Jewish person in Israel should be killed, right? Hasan is advocating for the rape and murder of every single Jew inside Israel because all of them are former IDF and I guess all of them are fair targets because it's mandatory conscription or whatever. But that's fine. Hasan seems like the kind of guy who would support like mass rape and murder and then cover up for it constantly. This is such an unhinged statement to make. This is also why, by the way, this is why Jews or Israelis never, ever, ever, ever trust these types of people when they say, oh, we're just looking out for Palestinians and we're not anti-Jew, we're just anti-Zionist. And by anti-Zionist, we just mean the most far-right ones. They never believe you and they never will believe you. And if I was Jewish, I wouldn't believe you. If I was Jewish, I would think the whole fucking world is anti-Semitic. When people like this get coverage by Jeff Bezos and Amazon to make the most insane fucking statements on Twitch and have free reign of that platform and all the young minds there and all the other streamers there who are too cucked out to ever oppose them, this is an unhinged fucking statement. This is an unhinged statement.
All served in the military. Far more people inside of Israel have served in the IDF per capita than people inside of Gaza have served in any of the armed wings of Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad or any other armed factions. So no, you're absolutely wrong on this. There's no way to argue around this point. Okay? The notion that like Israel must target schools and hospitals because because Hamas is hiding there is bullshit anyway.
One of the largest battles that occurred was that 2-week siege on Al-Shifa, by the way. But maybe it just took the IDF 2 weeks to blow up all the civilians. Who knows? And all the people they captured that they said were soldiers. Maybe it was all a meme. Maybe none of them are soldiers, and they would probably say Israel lies about it anyway. They just wanted more hostages and rape victims, I guess.
It's not correct. It's completely incorrect. That's precisely the reason why they keep saying there's a command and control center under this hospital, so we have to blow it up. And then there's no command and control center. So then they go, oh, the command and control center actually moved to the
other. There were huge tunnels that were found under the Al-Shifa hospital, and there were tunnels that seemed to be actively maintained with wiring and stuff running underneath them. There's also a big one found underneath an UNRWA building that people operated directly out of, but okay.
Hospital, we got to blow it up. Then there's no command and control center. So what are we talking about? These are outdated lies that have been proven to be lies over and over again. Genuinely curious, didn't they find tunnels and stuff in hospitals? They did. But a tunnel...
He's going to say, oh shit, never mind, fuck. Now I know what he's going to say. There are two ways to get around this. The first way is to say, well, Israel built them. That's why they know they're there. And then the second way to get around it is to say that the tunnels are just there for safety reasons and they're not actually used by militants. There's no proof of that, but we'll see.
Curious, didn't they find tunnels and stuff in hospitals? They did. But a tunnel system does not mean that it's an operational command and control center. And as a matter of fact, that's precisely what they found under the major hospital in Gaza that they claimed had a command and control center.
Okay. I mean, they did find things under here, but these people expected to see like a whole ass fucking NASA computer room, and they were upset when there were only like laptops and guns, but okay.
Half of the tunnel system was already built with Israel's supervision.
There you go.
Because hospitals do have tunnel systems under them, of course. But regardless, I thought they actually had their command centers in hospitals.
Hasan wanted to see videos of like the fucking bat cave. Yeah.
But regardless, I thought they actually had their command centers in hospitals and schools. Yeah, that's a lie, brother. That's just a lie.
By the way, Al-Shifa is a known area that terrorists operate out of. There's literally Amnesty International reports and everything out of it. Nobody actually denies this. This is a well-known thing. Nobody denies this. You've got video footage on the day of October 7th of hostages being taken back to this hospital, past 2 others, or 3 or 4 others, but they're driving past other hospitals to go to Al-Shifa. And Amnesty International has published reports criticizing, interrogation of prisoners, Al-Shifa hospital, plenty of people. This just isn't even it's not even a seriously contested. It's not even nobody actually denies this. Palestinians tortured, summarily killed by Hamas forces during 2014 conflict. Control F, Shifa. As well as carrying out unlawful killings, others subjected by Hamas to torture, including severe beatings with truncheons, gun butts, hoses, and wire, or held in stress positions, or were interrogated and tortured otherwise, ill-treated in a disused outpatients clinic within the grounds of Gaza City's main Al-Shifa hospital. And there's a full fucking report, I think, just on Al-Shifa, I think from Amnesty International. This is even in 2009. They were already talking about maybe Jamal Al-Gandour in his mid-50s was shot dead in his bed in Al-Shifa Hospital about 4 p.m. on the 20th of December by unmasked gunmen wearing plain clothes in front of relatives and other witnesses. Also present were uniformed members of Hamas security forces who took no action to prevent the killing or to apprehend the perpetrators. But this is, nobody even denies this. It's boring even looking it up. Nobody denies this. It's insane how much free propaganda the West does when Hamas themselves don't even deny this. It's so crazy.
You can show Chatter all the evidence of the IDF using hospitals in Gaza as military bases. Yeah. They set up shop inside of the hospitals. The Israeli military is using the Nur Klabi dialysis hospital and the Jabalia refugee camp as a military base and operational center amid the ongoing invasion. This is the second hospital that they hide behind, following the Tika hospital in Netzarim.
Israel, the IDF, it doesn't make any sense. You can't say that. The IDF can't hide behind hospitals. Hamas likes civilian deaths. There's no hiding from them in a hospital. It doesn't make any sense to say that.
It's always projection. Okay? It's always projection. Everything that Israel says Hamas is doing, they do tenfold. And nobody fucking cares. No longer even.
Okay, don't care.
The political tag is not removed. As you can see, political sim and politics are there, but LGBTQ is removed. How to save the game? Simple. Get rid of the gay people.
Okay.
Wow. You know, I've got some other people that think the same thing.
What is this even in reference to?
I know some people that would agree with this decision. I think that if you ask them, they would say, you know what? Maybe these Westerners made the right decision once in their life. That's amazing. The political tag is not removed. As you can see, political sim and politics are there, but LGBTQ is removed. How to save the game?
Saudi Arabia is investing heavily in esports. They own Face It and shit. Okay.
Simple. Get rid of the gay people. Wow. You know, I've got some other people that think the same thing. I know some people that would agree with this decision. I think that if you ask them,
I've been looking for this video for 5 days.
This isn't a joke. There's naked pictures of me all over the internet. Like what you see? I hope you do, because there's plenty more where that came from. What is going on? Who's jacking off to this? It's not me. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your family.
Is he supposed to sound like Tucker Carlson? That's the meme, right?
This isn't a joke. There's naked pictures of me all over the internet. Like what you see? I hope you do, because there's plenty more where that came from. What is going on? Who's jacking off to this? It's not me.
Kamala is to the right of George Bush. Why doesn't Vosh get shit on for his dog shit Hamas propaganda here? He has big viewership nowadays and says stuff is unhinged or more than Hasan, but almost never gets brought up. I think Vosh tries to be a bit more NATO friendly when it comes to Israel, Palestine, and Ukraine, Russia. He still says some tough stuff, but he's also, Hasan is like pigeonholed, or Vosh is like pigeonholed completely into like his own little world right now. So I don't know, we just don't come across this shit as much. Okay, final meme link that I have.
Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was my day off, and
We're not watching this whole video.
always told you guys this. Everything always happens on my day off. Never, ever does anything ever happen when I'm here.
Vosh is not moderate on it at all on Israel-Palestine.
But so far, everything I've seen is correct. There was some guy with Hamas and Hezbollah signs, like a soldier phenotype. Okay, I don't give a shit, man. If you support Hamas or Hezbollah, you're objectively more morally on the right than defending Israel. Like, if you take this as like an oppositional, like us or them, whatever, Israel right now is the one committing a genocide. Hamas and Hezbollah aren't. So if you want to engage in that level of more...
Didn't he start this off a lot more hinged? What changed? Or is he trying to grift for more viewership? Is he changed his opinions? Or Vosh is getting his subscribers back? Oh, okay.
moral equivacy, okay? Joe Biden saying he supports Israel's right to defend itself is implicitly more morally harmful than somebody running around a protest saying like Hamas is coming or whatever. Like, come on, have some perspective here.
His Ukraine stuff is more sane. Okay.
Because that would make sense. I'm here working, right? But no, it has to always happen on my day off.
Is stream growth a big goal of yours, or do you think it needs to be more gradual and natural? I always prioritize things that I enjoy doing and my own personal happiness, that I love to do it and I can spend all my time on it. I would never try to like prioritize events that I don't enjoy doing or things I don't like, because if I start to hate it, then I'll just fucking quit. Fuck that.
When I'm trying to relax with my wife, when I'm trying to run errands and get shit done, that's when the crap hits the fan with every possible thing, even the most unlikely shit, correct? So, what happens yesterday? I never expected. I know it's unprecedented, unbelievable, right? Like, holy crap, who would have thunk that what happened yesterday would have possibly happened, all right? So, I get wind of this, actually, from my moderators of all people, because I was actually just kind of casually doing stuff on and off between little times that I had times to do stuff, all right? And it just so happened, you know, my wife was getting ready for the day, you know, she's in the shower or whatever, and I'm like, all right, let me just open my phone for a few minutes and see what the heck's going on the internet. And I open my phone, and my moderators are kind of freaking out. They're like, are you aware that Keemstar just made a video about you apologizing publicly for his behavior? And I was like, no, and that seems kind of unlikely or weird. And I'm like, well, I'm going to check it out for myself. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, before I even make a single comment about it, I think that we should watch it together live, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we just give it a clean watch so that way it can't be misconstrued in any possible way, right? So here it is. First of all, we'll watch this, and then I'm going to tell you, you know, how I reacted to it here, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, unedited, pure, unscripted. He's blocked, by the way. He's blocked on Twitter. Let's see what Keem has to say about me. Are you ready? All right, here we go.
Dear Darkside Phil, DSP, I owe you an apology. I do. Last night, I was just being a hater, and worse than that, I was being hypocritical. For those of you that don't know the context, we were watching a Review Tech USA exposed documentary last night. There was a section that came up between DSP and Review Tech USA, and my chat was...
For the record, I don't know what documentary he's talking about. I don't think this is the June the King one, because I don't think there is a section in the June the King one that's me versus Rich. So he must have been watching a different documentary. I don't even know which one.
Spamming DSP is king because he's having a redemption arc right now because of the casino. And I basically said something along the lines of, you guys can all like have this little troll that he's king, but that guy's still a loser and he's going to remain a loser. He's always going to be on level 1, da-da-da-da-da-da. And this morning I woke up thinking about that and I'm like, I am just being a fucking hater. I'm just being a hater. But more than that, I'm being hypocritical. What is Lolcow Live, right? Part of it is redemption arc for Wings and Boogie. You know what I mean? So why am I hating on someone else?
How is it redemptive at all? I understand Wings. How is Boogie redeeming himself?
Having a redemption arc moment. Like that didn't sit right with me. So I owe you an apology, Darkside Phil. I may think in my head that you're not going to take advantage of this opportunity and you're going to end up right where you are, but I shouldn't hope that. I shouldn't put that energy out there, right? So yeah, I know we have our differences and whatnot, but I was wrong to shit on you last night and shit on the moment that you're having, and I apologize. Dear Dark...
Whoa, almost replayed it. Okay, so that's in its entirety. Unedited, no commentary from me on it whatsoever. I felt like the best way to approach it would be to do an honest playing of what it is. So you guys now have heard what he had to say, and you can judge for yourself, okay? By the way, I'm being told the documentary he was watching was by someone called Mikey Nohmore. Mikey, Nohmore. So it was, I guess now that June opened the floodgates with his documentary, you're gonna see a ton of rich documentaries coming out there, I would guess, right? Okay, go quick shout out, by the way. Some Kind of Taco did a $5 super chat. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you. And did we hit it? We're at 234 likes, guys. We have almost 700 viewers. Let's hit 250 likes right now, all right? Thank you, guys. All right, and Helly just did a super chat, because I know your game isn't for you. I know the game isn't for you. Could you see yourself trying out Monster Hunter Wilds in 2025? It's a maybe. I'm not disinterested in it. I like the Monster Hunter universe, but as I said many times, I tried playing the beta of Monster Hunter, whatever the last one was, World, years ago, and no one liked it. People literally told me on my stream, stop playing this beta. It's incredibly boring, and I only played it the one stream, and that was it. So really, it's about public opinion, not about me and what I like. I guess we'll see next year what happens with public opinion. Okay? Okay?
Okay. I don't really care that much about this. Let's see. Did somebody make a... Somebody should make the album of this. I'm too lazy to do it. For the unhinged Hasan shit. And then we should tweet it out. I'll amplify it. I'm pretty liberal in my thinking, but when I listen to some of Hasan's rhetoric, it pushes me more to the right. Also, is it strange to think the first U.S. fascist dictator will come out of the Democratic Party? Right now, it would be crazy to think that, yes. It definitely is more likely to come out of the right. But, I mean, in the future, it could come out of the left. Who knows? Jewish billionaires. Based. Fuck yourself to death, you genocidal freak. Israel already killed all of its own fucking citizens. Fuck this monster. Fuck this bitch. Bro, she is a traitor. Fuck her, fuck her. Oh, fuck her. We need a ceasefire, but also Israel can kill as many children as possible. I'm voting PSL in a wing state. Swing state. Fuck Holocaust Harris. Zionist propaganda. Fucking snake. Centrist motherfuckers. Fleeing from who you ghoul. Fuck this bitch. Fuck you, Kamal. Don't forget to do the McAfee check. Oh.
Let me be clear.
Oh, one of the leading political Andys on Twitch.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
Wow, thank you. I have no idea why she started to get so into politics. Jesus Christ.
Kamala.
Oh, another one. What's this?
Here's what I need you to stop wasting your time on. Stop saying, so you think Trump will be better, or these people think Trump will be better. Stop wasting your time on that. Stop wasting your time on, yeah, but Kamala called for a ceasefire. Like, let's just cut the bullshit, basically. Let's cut the bullshit. When it comes to Palestine, Kamala has shown thus far that she will not be different. And in fact, her talking about like the most lethal army in the world, like this girl is, it might be worse.
Most lethal army in the world was about the U.S. Army. We're not participating in military conflict with Palestine or the Gaza Strip, but okay. Okay, these two. All right. I'm going to use the restroom 1 sec, then we're going to... Oh, boy. Can you amplify these dog shit Mehdi Hasan takes?
In Islam, the ends do not justify the means. This idea is totally alien to Islam. In Islam, what is halal is halal, what is haram is haram. We do not bend our law, our morality, for our short-term aims. Never. And we never lose the moral high ground. If we know anything as Shias of Muhammad, as Shias of Ali, as Shias of Hasan, as Shias of Hussein, we know that keeping the moral high ground is key. Once we lose the moral high ground, we are no different from the rest of the non-Muslims, from the rest of those human beings who live their lives as animals, bending any rule to fulfill any desire. Once we do that, we are lost.
Oh, wait. I thought I thought this crazy dude was going to say something, and then Mehdi Hasan was going to say something, and it was going to tie back. Is this Mehdi? Okay. Did he used to be like a full-on? Are they always called imams? I need to learn all the names. No, I don't. Actually, I don't give a fuck. This is from a long time ago.
The non-Muslims, from the rest of those human beings who live their lives as animals, bending any rule to fulfill any desire. Once we do that, we are lost.
Don't make me do this.
From the rest of the non-Muslims, from the rest of
Okay, yeah.
those human beings who live their lives as animals, bending any rule to fulfill any desire. Once we do that, we are lost.
In Islam, to believe is to know. To disbelieve is not to know. That is what it fundamentally comes down to. It is to remain ignorant, to cover up knowledge. After all, what is kafir? Kafir comes from the root word, which means to cover up, to conceal. The kafir is the one who covers up that knowledge which is clear. The French Orientalist scholar Lamens, he once wrote that the Quran is not far from considering unbelief, disbelief, as an infirmity, as an illness, as a disease of the human mind. SubhanAllah. Non-Muslims point this out to us. And of course, the kafir, the disbelievers, the atheists who remain deaf and stubborn to the teachings of Islam, the rational message of the Quran, they are described in the Quran as, quote, a people of no intelligence. Allah describes them. Not of no morality, not of no belief, people of no intelligence. Because they are incapable of the intellectual effort it requires to shake off those blind prejudices, to shake off those easy assumptions about this world, about the existence of God. In this respect, the Quran describes the atheists as cattle. As cattle, as those who go to craft and do not suffer wonder about this world.
All of these ulama unanimously agree that at the very minimum, if Yazid was not a kafir, then at the very minimum, he was a fasiq, a transgressor, a breaker of Islamic laws, a corrupt individual, a tyrant, a killer, a drunkard, a dog lover, a music lover, a homosexual, a paedophile, a sexual deviant, someone who slept with his own mother, astaghfirullah. These are their views of the ulama, in their books, not my view, not Imam Hussein's view, not Ayatollah Sistani's view. This is their view about Yazid. It's all there in black and white. Yet Allah should be pleased with such a man, astaghfirullah. Allah should be pleased with him. Indeed, the fact is, and this is important, Yazid is not simply a fasiq. He was an out-and-out kafir.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, it sounds like pretty extremist religious fundy talk, but I mean, I think it calls for violence, but maybe he would also believe in that too, but apparently he's apologized for this because it's old or whatever. I don't know. I don't care that much. I think fundy religious people are fucking insane, but I think you're just as fucking crazy if you're some crazy Christian fundy as well. Muslims just have extra special problems because their book has like the blueprints for a state in it as well, but I don't know. Apparently he's apologized for this. I don't care that much. I think there's current shit that he says it's really dumb that I'd criticize him for rather than getting into all this stuff. Let me use that restroom real quick. 1 second. Does it bother you at all that the same guy is digging up 20-year-old Benny Morris quotes? Not really, actually. No. I just want to be clear on what the upsetness is for, or what the anger issues were. The issue is not digging up old Benny Morris quotes, although that would be bad if he like disavowed them. The issue is quoting him out of context. That's the issue. Okay, that's the problem with the Benny Morris stuff. Now, quoting old things from people they don't believe in anymore is also a problem. But for Benny Morris, the issue has to do with it being quoted and then not properly conveying what was being spoken about. That's the issue. Okay, hold on 1 sec. Ooh. I'm going to. I think I'm just going to speed through the Warren video because apparently there's not much like new stuff in here compared to what he said before. I think Warren. And then Pisco might want to do the AJW video with us. We'll see. You were going to say something before, and I cut off.
Oh, yeah.
I think Warren, I think you were going to say something before, and I cut off.
Oh, yeah. I did not expect this. I found out about the stream an hour before it even happened, and in the tweet, it must have been a typo. It said like January or something. And then he said, "Are you on Discord? Here, add me." And I thought, all right, well, I'll get around to that. I have till January. 45 minutes go by, and I get a message saying, "Hey, we're starting in 15 minutes. If you still want in, go ahead and add me." I was like, okay.
I've spoken to before. Most of you know about me and my political views and all that. I have beliefs about January 6th. I'm not sure what other people think about January 6th. So basically, I've collected a ton of information. And I just kind of want to like walk through a lot of it. And
It got to a point where there's like, all right, I gotta kind of give my thoughts on all of this.
Before, yeah, I want, yeah, wait, let me just do this last chunk. Warren, hold that thought. And
after seeing all this information, I'm left asking the question, okay, well,
Trump's biggest flaw is his ego. Like this is messed up. So I'm in this predicament where it's like, okay, we have a deeply, deeply flawed candidate, but he is the candidate representing these values. There's really only two, if you take out Kennedy. So there's a lot of people in this country that are feeling like in this predicament of what do I do if there's these things that I care about deeply? And I definitely don't want to go with what these people are standing for. And I understand there's like flaws. And thank goodness the founding fathers were able to create this systems of checks and balances that we referred to several times tonight, and that worked. It saved us from ourselves. And so I don't know what to do.
There are going to be many people today as we enter into this election who are asking themselves this very question. What poses a greater danger? What is more likely to lead to the outcomes that I care about? And each voter is going to have the things that matter to them.
Everyone's weighing this in their, not everyone, most people are weighing this in their minds who are considering voting for him. People see his faults. They also say, oh, Elon Musk, things that Elon Musk is saying, deregulation, we need border security. Do I care more about people, like issues at the border, or am I going to hang up on the past?
And I'm so hesitant to even talk about this that it makes it that, and I think many people feel that way, and that causes just this frustration.
You made a good point about like being in a predicament where you have a candidate that is basically like your candidate for these specific sets of values, but there are other things with this candidate that you like vehemently disagree with. So like what do you do?
Everything that is laid out in this 6-hour stream about January 6th, if you're concerned about things, then it seems like you would genuinely want to give the other candidate the best chances of victory. And to do that, you need people to be able to point out the flaws of the Democratic Party or the platform of the left, or when the left goes too far. To be able, if you're going to take anyone who cares about these things and categorize them as your enemy and think that you can anticipate what they think, because that's what makes an ideologue. That's an ideology. If you can predict what I thought on every single topic, that just means I'm buying into an ideology.
Let's put ourselves in his mind for a second, because he genuinely seems to believe that there is a deep state. He has been put through all these legal challenges, a recent assassination attempt. There's all the media attacks and fake news. We've seen this battle ensuing for like 8 years. It's got to wear on a person's psyche to the point where it makes him extremely prone to these things. And then we're listening to him with Elon last night, and he does have his strengths.
Trump's fighting the deep state, or he has reason to believe, like this cabal is out to get him, and like he's fighting an illegitimate election. It's his own guy saying that he's wrong. So I don't really understand where the whole the entire what's the word? The entire conspiracy that the election's fake, that he's coming up with, and he's saying that if his own guys are saying that it's not that way, where's he getting that information from?
Yeah, his guys are pointing out that the technical claims about the election fraud is not accurate, but surely you can acknowledge that there's an imbalance in with the media coverage.
The response to Trump is what is going to do more to get him elected. I think that anything even that Trump is going to say in any of these speeches or debates, is people see just an unfair reaction, an unbalanced reaction and vitriol and hatred towards those that are wrestling with this question.
Whether or not you agree with that, you have to recognize that people are perceiving this as an effort to destroy someone.
I agree that the perception can be that, but I think an issue also is like, where's that perception coming from?
It causes them to feel like, wow, this problem is bigger than I thought, and perhaps maybe we do need a rebuilding of this. We need someone to come in like a bulldozer.
If you feel like you're fighting a corrupt system, you're going to, and this is what I've been thinking about throughout the night, if he genuinely believes that this system is broken, they're going to cheat him, he's going to fight back with everything he can in unethical ways. That's how you slip into a dangerous game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then the question would be is like, you probably need some corrective mechanism to make sure that isn't happening, right?
No, absolutely.
That would be the people you have around you to tell you like, this isn't actually happening. But that's the checks and balance.
We could all objectively recognize when something is unfair, and I think that is what tips the scales.
As Destiny pointed out, Trump is such an out-of-the-box figure. He's not like Bush, previous Republicans. He just came out of nowhere, and we have this kind of, a lot of people have talked about this over and over, but the system that's just kind of shocked by it, and there's been that conflict. So by pointing out that conflict, surely we can acknowledge that conflict exists. That doesn't invalidate what you're saying.
And by conflict, you mean the media coverage?
Not just the media coverage. I don't want to belittle it by just pointing it out as like, oh, the media is unfair to him. It's much. I think it's the same thing that's motivating people like Elon Musk to get behind it. He's feeling the same frustrations.
That is what I think has caused many people who were very skeptical of Trump in 2016, Elon Musk, for example, the more that he has been, the more tribulations he has gone through, the more he has dealt with, that has caused him to take the position he's taken.
But then you look at like criminal convictions that Donald Trump has, be like, well, these were unfair. And it's like, wait, what? And then you get, and then it's hard because then you run into this tongue. Well, the perception is that it's so unfair. It's like, well, what if he just did do a lot of bad things and now he's being held accountable for
it?
No,
you're absolutely right. So I'm not trying to go into the minutiae of those cases or even claim that they are unfair. That's why I'm trying to take the larger perspective and say that we can't. I think, like you pointed out earlier, I think that was a really good point that he was this outsider coming into like a wrecking ball into.
Do you think he was exceptionally open-minded and willing to seek knowledge, or did this format force that in a way? I feel like most people are more quick to write off or push back against foreign knowledge than this. Maybe. I don't know much about this guy. I don't know like if he's a super conservative or how, supportive he is of Trump. He sounds like from what he was saying here, it sounds like he has conservative values. That's why he wants to vote for him. But I think it's going to be a combination of a few things. One, if you're willing to do something like this, you're probably already a bit more open-minded than at least somebody who wouldn't consider it at all. And two, 6 hours of stuff coming at you is a lot to just squirm around. That's really hard. So I think the format probably encourages it, and the people that are willing to participate in the format are probably a little bit more prone to it.
It's like in the movie industry, if someone comes in, some outsider, and just tries to start rejiggering with this system that is highly designed to be built around gatekeeping for self-sufficiency and keep outsiders out. You have someone come into that, it's going to resist against that. It's going to lead to conflict.
I guess my biggest frustration, as somebody that does a lot of like media coverage and reads a lot of autistic shit, and autistically reads a lot of autistic shit, is that one of the frustrating parts, I guess, from the liberal side is that in terms of like a deep state existing, like every single thing, I think even for what I've read in here, every single thing that Republicans have accused like Democrats of doing as far as like deep state stuff is actually happening here. And it's like all in the open. Like the idea that a president would call a state, that's already wildly inappropriate. You're calling a state election and saying like, I need you to do something about the voter fraud. I need you to find shit that like how many times has Trump said, Biden told his DOJ to investigate me, and here you have Trump firing attorney generals and telling his like attorney generals like, I need you to send this letter out. I'm gonna fire you guys, right? Or like all of the fact that Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? This is literally your George Soros figure, right? You got a foreign billionaire that buys one of the largest social media companies, makes it public and then turns it private, or takes it from public to private, right? And then is posting deepfake images of Kamala Harris. We know they're deepfake, but still, holy shit!
I love Elon, bro.
Yeah, the media's probably coming down really hard on you, but it's also because you're like being exceptionally fucking wacky. It might be because of the things that you're doing that the media is coming down on you like so much.
Partially that, but we could look at the media coverage of the interview with Elon last night. There's nothing to justify the response that I saw today. I made a video about that today, but also this is bigger than just media coverage. Anyways.
After Elon Musk met with Trump in that X space, I made a video about CNN's response, and just by making that video, people characterize me as a Trump supporter, which I don't understand.
Just say I'm wrong if I don't have this right. Sure. I feel like you were saying since the media coverage is super biased against him. I agree. They went after him for a bunch of stupid shit, like the whole like grab him by the thing. I thought that was a huge waste of time. I don't give. Or the fact that he like the porn star. I don't care. Right? Who cares? Right? And they try to make that like a really big deal. Sure. But you're using that as like it feels like a reasoning for why he can have these meetings for like Clark to take over as the DOJ or the Attorney General and stuff like that to do these illegal acts to like fight back.
No, I don't mean to indicate that at all. I'm just trying to point out like where that conflict exists and how people are perceiving that conflict. And I encourage you to watch like the video that I did today pointing out just the response from last night. It's only been one night to see how people the lens and what Destiny's saying about distributing and actions have consequences. That's absolutely true, but none of that explains just from last night why people are described in this way.
It's just the nature of politics, where it is a Machiavellian game where people are the struggle for power. But when you start getting to that portion about the slates, the false slates, and the Electoral College and this legal plan by Keemstar, it does paint a different picture, and I can absolutely understand concern around that.
That's going to be probably the most challenging portion as well, because it's so detailed and a bit more complicated. Mm-hmm. It revolves around the Electoral College or everything, but it seems to be the most crucial component. Like that's where the story really starts to shift, because up until that point, I'm like, okay, I see how he genuinely believes this. I can hear it in his voice. It's just ignorance, but that's when the strategizing starts to turn.
Walking away from this, I gained a lot of insight into the details that I was not aware of prior to this, not in that depth. And I still have some questions around Keemstar with the slates, the false slates.
The question I still kind of have, but is the way it was written out in that one paragraph where he brings in the lawyer, and the lawyer sees a strategy where if we implement the strategy, it was the wording that was a bit confusing, about where it could allow Trump a path if the court rules in his favor between this period and this period. And I read that paragraph a few times. I think you explained it better. I was just trying to, because it was so complicated, I kept reading that paragraph on my own. So, but
the ultra charitable beyond good faith construction is that they were sending in an alternate slate of electors in case they won a court battle, which would allow them to pick the other slates of electors just in case, so that they wouldn't have to like certify votes or whatever, or have electoral votes counted that the state legislature would change their mind on. The big example that conservatives will bring up when they argue this point is I think in 1984, I think Hawaii did something similar where they sent in 2 slates of electors. Greenwald tried this in a debate, and they bring out that like, well, Hawaii sent in 2 slates of electors. The reason why Hawaii did that was because the count was, I think it was like 130 vote difference in the state. So what the state legislature did was, well, it's close enough to trigger a recount. So what we're going to do is we're just going to send in both slates of electors just in case, and then when January 6th rolls around for the certification, you guys can pick the one that we basically ascertain is the correct one. The only difference between Hawaii, I would say the key crucial difference is that one was done on the up and up. Everybody knew what was going on. The state legislatures were involved. They certified. The governor gave the ascertainment to both sets of electorate slates. None of this was done like behind the scenes or in any kind of like weird spooky way. I feel like for the Trump stuff, that if they wanted to say that like, hey, okay, like maybe we do in a court case, if you feel that strongly about it, go to the legislatures and say, hey, can we like do 2 sets of electorate slates just in case, rather than kind of like all the shady shit they did. I feel like that shows worse intent. It's my feeling it, but yeah.
If you are deeply concerned about the events that were discussed in this 6-hour stream, then this is the way to get that information out there, is through calm, non-judgmental dialogue. He could have easily been combative with me and confronted me on my reaction to his comments. He seems to care more about getting this information out there.
It's still a worthy endeavor to undertake.
No, I agree. Of course,
your goal isn't really just to win votes for Kamala. It's more to shift like the moral landscape. It sounds like what Destiny was describing. He's like, it's this culmination of all the it was this perfect storm, and the whole effort is to reveal that so it doesn't happen again.
And there's something so effective about that, and I was so proud to be part of that. This is what I think this gives me hope. This is what we should be striving for.
This is truly remarkable, and so I just want to give you props for this. This is like a level of, and I mean this in a good way, like a level of like autistic detail that is in the best way. Sure. It's really remarkable.
And I still disagree with his characterization of what he said, but making mistakes or disagreeing or doing something I disagree with, people are going to make mistakes when they, in the pursuit of what they think is right. Sometimes we take things too far. Sometimes we fight too blindly. And if you're going to apply that rationalization and still vote for the candidate that you wish to vote for, it would be hypocritical not to apply that logic to destiny and recognize that people make mistakes. It doesn't exclude them from ever being able to participate in anything in the future.
Nice. Okay.
Our new patient. Our girl.
Oh, shit. Okay. The comments on that video were fucking crazy, but